You are about to experience the Jersey Jaguar YouTube channel, the greatest YouTube channel in all of history when it comes to your Jacksonville Jaguars. In order to become a subscriber to this channel, if you haven't done so already, you only need to fit 3 criteria. First, you must love the Jacksonville Jaguars. Second, you must hate, better yet, even despise the Tennessee Titans. And third, and most importantly, you must know in your heart, with everything you have, that Shad Khan is a complete and total buffoon. If you fit those 3 criteria, hit that subscribe button, join me on this YouTube journey, and I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Sit back, relax, and listen to the best Jaguar insight on the YouTube platform. Well, Jags fans, now that the offseason is pretty much in complete dead mode, and any kind of talent that the Jaguars were going to acquire for the 2022 season, that time period has come and gone, and pretty much it's here. The roster that we are going to have, outside of maybe a few undrafted guys possibly making the team like Kevin Austin, we pretty much know what this Jaguar team is going to look like heading into the 2022 season, and it's complete. Barring some crazy trade that Trent Baalke pulls off, which I doubt very much he'll do that, this is it. So the big question that I'm going to present to all of you today, and we're going to talk about it for a little bit. Did the Jaguars do enough to help number 16? Because at the end of the day, it's all about Trev, right? I'm going to get a shirt that says that. All about Trev. I'm going to put his beautiful smiling face right on the back of it, okay? It's all about Trevor. If Trevor sucks, the team will suck. If Trevor doesn't get help, ain't nobody getting help. I'm not getting help mentally, okay, with this football team. So, did they do enough to help Trevor? Let's talk about it. So, I think the approach that the Jaguars took in the draft, we'll talk about the draft for a little bit first, kind of surprised a lot of people because, and myself included, a lot of people wanted Evan Neal or Ike Ekwonu, and then to follow that up with George Pickens, or to do what the Lions did and give up everything to jump up and grab Jameson Williams. I would have been all about that. Now, with that being said, Devin Lloyd, I think, will be a wonderful player for us for many, many years. But I would have been all about that, okay? Because Jameson Williams is a beast. But the Jaguars did not do that. They picked Travon Walker first overall, which I'm not going to bash my boy. It's not his fault that he picked himself first overall. I hope he's great. I'm rooting for him like no other. I hope he's great. They picked Travon Walker first overall. They traded back up to get Devin Lloyd, who I think will be an absolute monster for us for many years. And then they picked Luke Fortner, center, in the 3rd round. Followed that up with another linebacker in Chad Muma, who I also think will be a very good player for us. And then they drafted another running back, which whatever. And then 2 corners at the end of the draft. So the draft was very mostly centered around the defense. Now, the Jersey Jaguar, are you telling me, do you really think that draft helped Trevor Lawrence out at all when all they got out of it for his side of the ball was a 3rd-string running back and a center or guard, depending on where Doug Peterson wants to play him? Well, can I tell you that sometimes the best offense is a good defense? And may I remind all of you guys that the last time this franchise was relevant over the last 14 years was because we had an incredible defense, okay? That same defense that made Blake Bortles able to function somewhat normally. And if that defense could do that for Blake, along with that running game of Leonard Fournette, what do you think a really improved defense could do for Trevor Lawrence? I'm just saying. There is not a doubt in my mind that the Jaguars' front 7 is vastly improved from what it has been the last couple years. Devin Lloyd Foye Oluokun and Chad Muma are a much better linebacking core than what we've had probably since Paul Posluszny, Miles Jack, and Telvin Smith. It's been since 2017. It's been that long. This linebacker core is going to be legit. This linebacker core is going to change the dynamic of our entire defense, along with, I believe, Doug Peterson will actually put Andre Cisco on the field. Andre Cisco will be a playmaker for us. Just a little bit when he was finally on the field at the end of last year, we saw, like, what was Urban Meyer smoking and why wasn't this man on the field from September on? I will never understand that, but that's neither here nor there. The Jaguars' corner room is much improved. Tyson Campbell really came on at the end of last year. Darius Williams from the Rams is a great corner, and Shaquille Griffin is a good player as well. The Jaguars' defense will be much improved, and if Travon Walker ends up proving all the doubters wrong and ends up being a great player, even if at the worst he's an excellent run stopper, the Jaguars' defense should be vastly, vastly improved than what it's been over the last couple years. What does that mean? Okay, well, what that means for Trevor is that he's not going to go into every single possession saying, oh my God, I have to score. We have to do something because the defense is going to give up at least a field goal or is going to give up at least, 40, 50 yards of offense to the other team, and it's going to flip the field even if the other team does punt to put us in such bad field position. I'm stressed. I have to get us out of this. Trevor will be in much better field situations. He will not be playing from behind nearly as much as he did last year, which will take all that stress off of him. It makes a difference. It makes a big difference. If you go back to the Rams game, okay, the Jaguars were down 10-0 before Trevor completed a pass. The San Francisco game, they took up the entire first quarter on that drive, got a field goal. Trevor's first pass was, shocker, a screen to Laviska Shenault, which was fumbled, and then San Francisco, like 3 plays later, scored to go up 10-0 before Trevor can even complete a real pass. But Trevor's the bust, right? To some of you goons out there that say that. Trevor sucks. Not the team, not the coaching staff, not the organization. Trevor sucks. I got you. People drive me nuts. Oh, God. The defense will help Trevor. The best offense sometimes is a good defense. Now, with that being said, let's jump over to the offensive side because improvements have been made there as well. Unfortunately, yes, we lost Brandon Linder to retirement. However, the Jaguars do have now the best or one of the best guards in the entire NFL that we signed from the Washington football commander team, whatever you want to call them. Brandon Sheriff is a multi-time Pro Bowl, all-pro guard. Dude is a complete beast. He will play over on the right side, I believe, next to either what I believe will either be Walker Little more than likely or Jawan Taylor. And then in the middle, I'm projecting to be Luke Fortner, the center that we drafted. And then that left guard is really where there could be a plethora of guys starting. I'm not really sure what the Jaguars are going to do there. They could also, if they don't feel comfortable with anyone at that left guard position that isn't Luke Fortner, they could definitely start Tyler Shatley, who's been on this team forever. And he's a solid player. You're not panicking if Tyler Shatley's your center. Shatley could be right there in the middle, and then Fortner could be the left guard, and then Cam Robinson will be the left tackle moving forward. Worst comes to worst, if they do put Fortner at center and they don't want to play Shatley at guard, which I don't really know why they wouldn't. Will Richardson has also played guard for us. That's someone that they could plug in on that left side. Also, Ben Barch showed improvement last year. They could plug him on the left side. So that's really the biggest mystery. We're just going to have to wait and see for preseason who the apple of Doug Peterson's eye is when they first roll out in August. Because it could really be that center. Although I believe more than likely it will be Luke Fortner. That center and left guard position are the two positions that are kind of the big unknown. I guess you can kind of make that argument for the right tackle position, but me personally, I believe that Walker Little, because Jawan Taylor, I support the guy. I met him in person. He's a cool dude, but he has not shown the progression that we had hoped that he would from his rookie year. And I believe that based off what we saw of Walker Little last year, Walker Little will more than likely play that right tackle position. And you know what? The best case scenario for the Jaguars actually is for Jawan Taylor to have the best camp of his career and have an awesome preseason and to have the best year of his career and earn a second contract. Stay at that right tackle position, and then we can move Walker Little on the inside because he has actually come out and said, or I think his dad said, that he would be willing to play guard if not tackle. Put Walker Little in at left guard, and then Fortner at center, and then Tyler Shatley can stay in backup center purgatory where he belongs. That would probably be the best case scenario for the Jaguars. So the offensive line, I would say, I don't necessarily know if it's, well, I can tell you that Brandon Sheriff is a massive improvement over AJ Cam. That is upgraded, yes. And you know what? If Walker Little ends up beating out Jawan Taylor, then that means the right tackle position is upgraded as well. Cam Robinson, some Jaguar fans are iffy on him. He's a solid player. He's not elite, but he's not bad. Cam Robinson is a solid, good NFL left tackle. I'd say he's top 12, top 15, top 12 at least. So he's a good guy to have there. I'm excited that they got a long-term deal done with him. So it's really kind of, and I think Luke Fortner would be a good center for us as well. He was like first team All SEC last year. He had the second highest grade, pass blocking grade for college centers, I believe. I saw that on Pro Football Focus for last season. So Luke Fortner is going to be a good player for us. I'm not really worried about that there. And even if he's not the best at center, kick him over to guard where he played a lot there too. And Tyler Shatley's proven to be solid. So is the Jaguars' offensive line elite? No, it's not elite. But you know what? Joe Burrow just made a Super Bowl with a terrible offensive line. So, and you know what? There's a point that I'm going to get to at the end of this video that will kind of bolster what I just said. So moving on to the wide receiver position. Obviously, that is the position everyone's talking about. We gave Christian Kirk the contract, which people are blowing way out of proportion. A lot of what Christian Kirk is getting, though, is based off of what the Jaguars believe he could be. Oh my God, excuse me, I just yawned, putting myself to sleep. Hopefully I'm not putting you to sleep. Christian Kirk has the potential. He's an excellent slot receiver, but he has that potential to be that dynamic, game-changing receiver, and the Jaguars are banking on that. I think he will definitely, him and Evan Ingram will be two big security blankets for Trevor Lawrence. Last year, it was Laquan Treadwell that he was throwing to a lot on third down, and then you wonder why the Jaguars had the offense that they did. Laquan Treadwell should be your fifth wide receiver. If Laquan Treadwell is your fifth wide receiver, yeah, you're probably doing all right. Way too many third downs Trevor's throwing to Laquan Treadwell. That is not okay. And that will not be the case this season because I believe Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram will be those guys, and I think those guys are much better targets to throw to than Laquan Treadwell, obviously. One guy that I think a lot of Jaguar fans are kind of counting out, I still have hope for, is my boy Laviska Shenault. I think that in a better scheme, better system that he's in now, Laviska Shenault can show a lot more this season than he did, he could show more of what he did in his rookie year this year. And again, I'm going to make a point at the end of this video, and it's all going to tie in together. But I still have hope for Laviska Shenault. Also, Marvin Jones, even though he's a dinosaur, Marvin Jones is still at least a somewhat productive player at wide receiver for as old as he is. And the hope, I think, is that if Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk can kind of draw away a little bit of that double team from Marvin Jones, because all the teams had to do last year was double team Marvin Jones, and there was nothing. Laviska Shenault couldn't get open, and I mean Tavon Austin, I forgot he was in the league until I saw we signed him, and then Laquan Treadwell. I mean, could you win with that? Could any team really win with that? I don't think so. So Trevor definitely has better options to throw to this year. And plus, let's not discount that Kevin Austin kid from Notre Dame. You know, a lot of Jaguar fans seem to think he can be something. I'm excited to get the preseason, actually watch him to see what he does. I really hope that we get another Allen Hurns in him, because that would be awesome, obviously. So I think, again, with the hopeful improvement of Laviska Shenault, what Christian Kirk can bring, and Evan Ingram, because I don't really count Evan Ingram as a tight end, because he's really not. He's like, the Jaguars tight ends will still be Dan Arnold and Chris Manhertz. You know, Evan Ingram is definitely more of like a bigger wide receiver. That's really what he is. I have high hopes for both of them. Marvin Jones continued to be solid. And hopefully, like I said, the improvement of Laviska Shenault will give the Jaguars a much better receiving core. But outside of that, the running back position is what I'm really excited about for the Jaguars. Because if you take injuries out of it, which I believe that all of them will heal, James Robinson, fully healthy, and Travis Etienne, fully healthy, can be a wonderful, wonderful security blanket for Trevor Lawrence. James Robinson is the top 10 running back in this league, and he's a top 10 running back with his coach last year benching him, and his head coach being against him for a guy in Carlos Hyde who shouldn't even be in the NFL, okay? So what does that tell you? Imagine when he actually has a coach like Doug Peterson who's going to use him the right way on critical third downs. They're not going to bench him and put in Carlos Hyde and then wonder why he gets stuffed. You tell me, Urban. You tell me. And Travis Etienne, I think, will be kind of what Corey Clement was for the Eagles in that 2017 run. Because the Eagles had a three-headed monster at running back. They had Jay Ajayi, Garrett Blount, and Corey Clement. And Travis Etienne, James Robinson, and Snoop Connor can replicate that. I truly, truly believe that. And the point that I had wanted to make to tie in everything that I have said in this entire, however long I've been recording, 15-minute video, the biggest improvement on this Jaguar team, the biggest help for Trevor Lawrence has been Doug Peterson. I don't think people are talking about that quite enough. They didn't do enough to help Trevor. They didn't draft George Pickens. They didn't trade it all away for Jameson Williams. What are they doing? They didn't draft Evan Neal. They hate Trevor. Rip Trevor's career. Trevor's going to end up like Joe Burrow in his rookie year with a broken leg. Doug Peterson over Urban Meyer was the biggest upgrade and the biggest help to Trevor that this organization could ever give Trevor. Okay? What we expected to see last year, we will see this year. Will the Jaguars make the playoffs? No, probably not. But will the that year of improvement, like legitimate improvement, where 2 years from now we can say, yeah, we're going to compete for the AFC South. That's what we'll get this year. Doug Peterson every single week, like remember week 1 of last year where Trevor looked really lost and there was a bunch of penalties and illegal formations and all that stuff in the very beginning against the Texans last year? You won't see that this year against the Washington Commanders. You will not see that because Doug Peterson will have this team fully prepared, fully ready, unlike Urban Meyer who had no clue what he was doing. Doug Peterson will have this team in the right direction. Even if we don't win every game, the one thing that I can almost assure you is where it's like every third week we're getting blown out by 20, 25 points, I don't think we'll see that this much. The defense is too improved, and Doug Peterson is too good of a coach to allow that to happen. The Trevor Lawrence that us Jaguar fans were promised, we will see what we saw at the last game. Okay, think about this. I just thought of this. Trevor Lawrence, outside of the Patriot game, my God, improved in the 4 weeks that Darrell Bevell was his head coach. Darrell Bevell was his head coach for that last month after Urban left. And you saw improvements with Trevor throughout that month. Imagine what Doug Peterson will do. That last game that we saw against the Colts, where the defense was playing good and Trevor hit like his first 8, 9, 10 passes in a row, opening drive, went down and scored. You're going to see that a lot more this year. A lot more this year. I'm convinced of that. So next time, Jaguar fans, if you're thinking, man, did the Jaguars do enough to help Trevor Lawrence? Maybe they didn't do that home run splashy thing, like go get Devontae Adams. And yeah, maybe they didn't trade up to get the wide receiver in the draft and all this stuff. But you know what? This team as a whole is very improved. This coaching staff is eons and eons approved. I can't even measure how much. That is the greatest help for Trevor Lawrence that the Jaguars could have ever done. That's my thoughts for you guys today. Hit that like button. Hate the Titans with your whole heart. Go Jags. Well, look at you. You made it through the entire video. I appreciate that. Since you've made it this far, you might as well go ahead and share this video with every Jaguar fan that you know. Really helps the channel grow, and hey, us Jaguar fans got to stick together. Duval!